Hello, I'd like to talk about this new movie camera I just purchased. It's a Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K, and this is the camera here. And the camera really doesn't have a lot of accessories that you need to make it functional. So in addition to the camera, I had to buy these other accessories. The camera comes with a PL lens mount, but I want to use EF mounts like Canon, and that's this piece right here. You need to be able to power the movie camera, and you need to buy a battery plate that connects on the back of the movie camera that you can then connect batteries to. This is a viewfinder that plugs into the camera that allows you to view what you're actually filming. That bolts to the top of the camera. And then you have the shoulder kit, which includes the base plate, which rides on top of your shoulder, as well as a carry handle on top. So we're gonna start putting all these accessories on this Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro camera. I'm going to start placing, start with the battery plate in the back. Then I'm going to place the Mini Pro EF mount, change over the PL mount to the EF mount. Then I'm going to mount the base of the shoulder kit to the bottom of the movie camera. And then I will mount the viewfinder and carry handle on the top of the camera. And that should be pretty much everything, except I still need to buy a side handle for a side mount carry handle to maneuver at a future time. But I'll unpack some of this stuff and we'll go ahead and start putting it together. Okay, so I've unpacked the movie camera, the Blackmagic Ursa 12K Pro Mini Pro, and I have the battery plate here, and you can see the V notch that faces up because you can slide the battery on top. And the battery plate adapter plugs in this little white receptacle right there, and here's the connector. And one thing that you have to remember all the time is whenever you connect these together, you have to pay special attention to make you have it oriented correctly and straight in, because you do not want to bend any of those little pins in there, because once you bend them, then it's bad. So again, the plate goes on like this. This plugs in that receptacle. There are four places that you put these small Phillips head screws in to fasten on the battery plate to the back of the camera. And then again, you got your Phillips screwdriver. Make sure it fits in in one of these little small screws. They give you 8 screws, but you only need 4 of them. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna plug in the receptacle, and the release latch is here pointed to the left. And again, we want to make sure that's inserted straight in. And again, we do not want to bend any of those pins in there. Critical. It should click. There it is. Okay. So it clicked in, and then these wires then are packaged in this little receptacle here. So you want to try to route these wires in that receptacle, and place and push this plate on the back of the camera. You know, it takes a little time to get the rubber gasket to line up. Okay, you may want to flip the camera up on the top. Okay, and if you have a little flashlight that you can, wait a second here, this gasket's the other, okay, there, okay. And make sure it lines up. Wait a second here, here we go. The V-knot hat faces up. Okay, there we go. Okay, and if you look down through, If you look down through the holes, you can see the threads line up through the hole through the gasket. Drop a little screw in. Okay, there we go. Drop a little screw in and just gently screw it in part way. Wait a second here. There we go. Okay. Take some coordination, which I kind of lack. Okay, so that one started. Let's go diagonal. Let's put this one in here. Okay, again, gently screw it in a little bit. You don't need to screw it in the whole way. Okay, the final two screws. Again, I am not screwing them in real tight. I just want to make sure that they all thread easily. I do not want to strip anything. Okay, now all four are in threaded. They're in now. I'm going to just gradually tighten each one down. I'm going to go diagonally and tighten the battery plate on the back of the movie camera. Again, I can feel it get a little bit snug with each screw, and I do it in stages to even out the clamping force on this plastic. The diagonal and here. Okay, that is good. So that is on there. Finished with that. Okay, now that we have the battery plate on the back of the movie camera, now we're going to switch and we're going to replace the lens mount from the PL style mount, which comes with the camera, to the EF mount, which takes a Canon style lens. So what we need to do is we first need to take the cover off the front, and on the perimeter you'll see these little hex Allen wrench screws that need to come out to pull this PL mount off the front of the camera. So you need to take all these out. Okay, there's one. Okay. Two. 3. 4. And what I do is I push on the wrench a little bit to sideways to bind it in there. Then I drag it out. That helps to grip the bolt. You may have to rotate the outer collar to expose the Allen head bolt. Okay. And again, I pull the Allen wrench, pull it to the one side, and that grips the inside of the bolt. Okay, so there are a total of 5. Then we're going to pull the PL mount out of the front of the camera, set it aside. But there's another thing we need to do, and that is take this plastic collar baffle out. And when you buy the EF lens, in the package comes some shims to adjust the depth, but also more importantly, you have a tool that's clipped in the back, and this tool is made to unscrew this black plastic collar, and it fits in these grooves, and you just twist it counterclockwise, and you take out this baffle because it gets in the way if you try to put the EF mount in the camera. So this needs to come out, and there's a shim in here, but you want to leave that shim in. Okay, and that stays in the camera. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put the EF mount in, and get it off. Okay, so we see that we have the contact points there, and we have this notched area there. This should fit straight in, and I'm going to turn the camera up, point it up, and we'll make it easier to put these in. Okay, and again, I'm going to just set it in there on top of the shim that's already in place. It should just gently fall right in. And the EF mount comes with its own screws, which are a different length. You get 8 screws, but you only need 4. And again, we're going to put those in the 4 openings. Okay? And they take the same Allen wrench. I think it's a 2mm. And again, we're going to put these in. Try not to get any dirt or spit down in the sensor area. And we're going to, and the red dot should be the top of the camera. But again, it only goes in one way because of this notch. And let's just try to gently screw these mounting bolts in. I don't want to make them real tight. I just want to get them just a little snug. And then after I get all 4 snug, then I will tighten them down in a cross pattern to get equal distribution of the force, to try not to distort anything. So I'm getting all the nuts. Okay. Now again, I'm going to just make them a little bit tighter. Okay, that's a little bit more tight. I'm going to go directly opposite. A little tight. Okay. A little tight in here. A little tight. Now I'm just going to go back over them again and just make it a little tighter. There's instructions that say how much torque you have to put on these screws. But taking them out in the beginning gave me an idea how strong that the screws are in there. And again, you don't want to do it way too tight, but you don't want them coming loose either. Okay, so they're all in there, mounted correctly, and that is that. I'm going to put the protective cover back on. I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. So there, we have the battery plate on the back, and we've changed over the lens mount to the EF mount. Okay, now that we have the battery plate on the back, we've got the new lens mount, the EF mount. We're going to put the base plate, for the shoulder mount kit. We're going to put the base plate on. It helps stabilize the camera to then finish off with the top of the camera. So the camera's sitting upright. Here's the front. We're going to flip it over and let the camera sit on its top. And now we see the bottom of the movie camera, and you can see there's 5 holes in here for the mount. We're going to use the first hole and the third hole. Those are the holes we're going to use to mount this base plate. And this is the front of the plate with the knobs. This is the back of the plate, and the camera will sit on top of here. So in other words, we're going to flip it and mount it on top like this. So there are certain screws that need to be used to mount this base plate on the bottom of the camera, and those are these silver ones. And the tips of them are threaded. Then they have a reduced shank that's a little bit narrower. And then once these screws are inserted, these screws will be able to slide. You'll be able to slide and maneuver the mount forward and back on the camera. So we're going to first put these screws through that slot, which will take a little bit of effort. and I will insert them more towards the front. The front of the slot seems like there's a little bit of a wider opening right there, so I'm going to insert the screw through the bottom of the one end of the slot, and you just twist the screw. There will be some resistance while it's forming threads through the aluminum. Okay, and then once the threads go the whole way through, you'll see the screw just drops in, and now the screw can slide up and down in the slot. We're going to put the second one in the same way. Okay, just screw it down in. And then it slides down as well. So again, your shoulder rests in here, and this is towards the front of the camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide the screws in the mount, and then we're going to try to line up the screws underneath with the first and the third holes, tapped holes in the bottom of the movie camera. And then we're just going to gently screw it in, at least get it started. Okay. Now, if you want more adjustment, you can alter where you put these screws. But for me, I'm just going to put them the farthest apart, so it's more stable. That one is snug. This one is snug. I'm going to tighten it more. That one's tight. I'm going to tighten this one more. Very good. Okay, so the base plate is on, and this is pretty close to where I want it sit resting on my shoulder. Okay, now we're going to turn the camera right side up again, and now we're going to put on the carry handle as well as the viewfinder. Okay, now again, we have the battery base plate on the back, the changed over the lens mount. The shoulder kit came with the base plate, which we put on already, and then the top part of the shoulder kit includes the carry handle and this base plate for the carry handle. But the carry handle base plate is made such that you can insert the viewfinder in there, in between the base plate and the carry handle. But the way the carry handle is supplied, there's a little rubber block spacer that is inserted in it. If you don't use the viewfinder, it fits right in. So to use the viewfinder, you need to pop this little rubber spacer out. That way, when the carry handle is mounted, the front of the viewfinder can slide in between the carry handle and the carry handle base plate. So what we're first going to do is we're going to attach the carry handle to the back of the base plate, and there's 4 little screws that match up to the bottom of the carry handle, and they take a small Allen wrench right here. So we're going to again line up the holes, drop one down in there, and then just gently screw it in. Again, we're not going to do it tight. We're just going to do it not even snug, just a little loose. We'll go diagonally, and we'll put the next one in. Again, we'll screw it in there very gently. It should go in real easy. If it doesn't go in easy, then you don't have it lined up correctly. Then put the last 2 in. Again, I'm going to screw this down in there easily. It's a little snug, and the last one. Okay, we're going to screw that down in there easily. Okay. Okay, so we have these in. We will come back and tighten these up later. But I just want them in there a little loose while we insert the viewfinder in the slot. Okay. Okay, so the base plate is screwed on loosely. Now we're going to slide the viewfinder in the slot, and it should go in there. Yep, it does. Okay. And in the hole, you get a little round knob with a thread on the end. That clamps the viewfinder depth to tighten it up so it doesn't move or adjust on you. So we're going to put that in now, and again that slides. Okay, so we're going to leave it. I'm going to leave it fully extended at its maximum forward position. And again, I'm going to tighten this down a little bit. Okay, so now we're ready to mount it on top of the camera, and I'm going to mount it on the last two holes of the up on top. There are four threaded areas to mount for the mounting. The kit gives you 4 screws, 2 shorter ones, 2 longer ones. I'm going to use the 2 longer ones, and they're going to fit through the back. They're going to fit through the back of the carry handle. Okay. Okay, and extend below. Okay. Okay, so the screws are extending below, and we're going to set the handle on there, lining up the holes, and then again gently get the screws to go down in the threaded areas. Okay, and that one's going down in. Okay, that one started. We're going to do the second one in the back. Again, gently screw down. Then now it's going down in the top of the camera. Again, we're going to screw it down in. Okay, go back to the first one. Screw it down in tighter. Okay, now we're going to tighten them up a little bit. Change the orientation of the hex wrench and just crank on it just a little bit, not real hard. You want it good and snug, just a little bit tight. And again, pull the handle, tighten it down. Okay, very good. So we have that connected on. I think this should be positioned pretty good, adjusted right for my shoulder carrying it. If I need to adjust it, I can always go back and change the screws, top and bottom, to reposition the camera for better balance on my shoulder area. So once I start using it, then we'll figure out how close I am to the optimal setting for me. And the last thing we need to do is we need to connect the electrical connections from the viewfinder to the camera. And the bottom one has 4 pins in it, and you always want to make sure that you have the pins adjusted, lined up correctly. They should go in easy. There's a little bump on the perimeter of that fitting, and you want to try to line that up here. Make sure the pins are aligned up, and again, it should go in easy, and it should like snap in place. Very good. Okay, And again, with this one, this has a center pin. It's not as critical, but you still want to be center line to make sure that the pin goes right in the very center. And there's grooves, inside grooves on that fitting there. You want to line them up with the little pins coming out there and on the collar. And again, push it in, and it should just twist this collar to lock it in place. And that one's locked in place. So they're both in. That's the release button. If you want to remove this connection, you push down on that release button and that pops out. The upper one, if you want to detach it, you got to twist the collar counterclockwise and then pull it straight off like that. But we'll go ahead and put it back on. Push it, make sure it's straight on, and then turn the collar to lock it in place. And we are done. Well, I hope this helps you, with your project. I'm looking forward to doing my project, and it should be a lot of fun.